Now, Romans chapter 8 is actually such a unique chapter in the New Testament because no other chapter talks about the Holy Spirit this much. Even just in verses 1 through 17, it mentions the Holy Spirit 16 times. Now, in case some of you guys are new believers, I do want to touch on what the Holy Spirit is, but I'm not going to go crazy in depth with the Trinity because, well, you could do an entire lifelong in-depth Bible study on the Holy Spirit, and frankly, I don't really know how to do that in this video. But I am going to put this diagram here. This diagram shows us that God in the center is 3 in 1. There's God, who is the Son, who is the Holy Spirit, and who is the Father. But on the outside, the Holy Spirit is not the Son. The Son is not the Holy Spirit. The Son is not the Father, and the Father is not the Son, and the Father is not the Holy Spirit. I want to make clear that Christianity does not serve 3 gods. Christianity serves one God, but God is 3 in 1. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit is all God. And while the Bible doesn't explicitly say the word Trinity in here, Christians today call this diagram the Trinity. And I'm going to leave you guys resources down below if you want to do more research on this. I know when I first saw that diagram, I was like, what? It just made me more intrigued to learn more because I felt like I'd never seen anything like it. So if you want to learn more about what the Trinity is, I will leave links down below for that. I hope I didn't just confuse you guys too much, but let's actually switch gears and go back to Romans 6 through 8 like we were studying, because these 3 chapters actually give us the most comprehensive understanding of the Spirit's work in believers. Now, all of us who were once not believers know that when you become a Christian, you are changed and you feel the confirmation that you are a child of God within your heart. And the thing is, a believer's life in the Spirit is the antithesis of our old life in the flesh. Romans 8:5 tells us, "For those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit have their minds set on the Spirit." We know that ultimately the things of the flesh are directed towards death, while the things of the Spirit are concerned with life and peace. The Spirit produces in us life and peace. This, my friends, is giving us insight on what the Spirit means for us. The Spirit, the Holy Spirit, is a catalyst for our sanctification, for us coming to look more holy and more like Christ. When you become a Christian, you are changed. But we still live in a broken world, a broken, decaying world, and our bodies, although dead, still are enticed by sin. We are not perfect. That's why Christ came to the earth for us. But as believers, we should be wanting to look more holy. We should be intentionally seeking the Lord and partnering with the Spirit to live a life that is glorifying to God. The Spirit helps us to reject our old ways of sinning. Paul urges us in all these 3 chapters to give up sin. He was trying to explain, just because we live under grace now does not mean that we want to go back and bow down to sin. We can't do that. Our only master, we are slave to Christ. Christ freed us from sin, so why would we go back and take the chains and shackles and put it back on our wrists? And folks, let me say, if any of you have struggled with sin, you know that sin will not go out of your life without a fight, okay? Satan wants to have a grip on you. The more you are trying to become like Christ, the more he's going to want to get in your way. And before leaving you guys with this video, I want to encourage you with this reading from Raymond Collins. Despite our dignity and lofty calling, we continue to suffer. We live in a real world at a time when this world is subject to decay. It does not yet enjoy the freedom that is radically ours who have been freed from sin and death by the Spirit. Creation itself is waiting for the full revelation of what we are as the children of God. Creation wants to be free just as we have been radically set free by the Spirit. While we wait for fullness of redemption, the Spirit comes to our assistance. The Spirit enables us to cry, Abba, Father. That wonderful prayer, inspired by the Spirit, rises from our lips even as our redemption is not yet complete. Now, in our vulnerability and weakness, the Spirit comes to help with groanings that we cannot understand. The Spirit intercedes with God for us. The Spirit pleads for the fullness of our redemption and the revelation of our dignity as children of God. We do not understand fully the Spirit's groanings, but God does. God, who understands us in the very depths of our being, our hearts, knows what is the Spirit's intention because the Spirit is God's own Spirit. What the Spirit intends is God's will. God wills our glorification and has given us a pledge, down payment, and guarantee in God's very own Spirit. I hope you guys enjoyed this Bible study. I know that it feels like we just scratched the surface, and honestly, that's how it feels every time I read the Bible. And that's a good thing because we can always have a quest for more knowledge. There's always infinitely more to dig and in-depth study. But that's gonna be all for today. Please give this a like if you enjoyed this Bible study and if you want more Bible studies where we can just go through passages like this together. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to join me on our Monday podcast.